are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate.
Monday, we got Tuesday Bully Live crew in the house, and we're going to start it off with a difficult question. Here's the question, man, because right now I'm expecting a litter. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they told me, they said, Raul, what happens when the female decides that one or two puppies, for example, she wants to ignore them and not want to make them part of the little puppy pack they got going on? Well, my response was, I learned the hard lesson that when mama dog doesn't want said puppy is because said puppy, more likely than not, is coming in with something messed up. And you might fight and save that puppy, and you might end up with a puppy that ends up dying anyways. Either way, we're going to bring in lottie-dottie everybody, and we're going to have one amazing conversation. Appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Let me bring in Michael Higginson.
What's
we
up,
got
fam?
Miss Amanda Jean, I was going to say Nixon. We got Caleb Weddle and his wife, Nakaya.
Woo!
Yes. And, of course, we got Mr. Big Bruce and Bruce Lee. That's right.
Uncle Bruce,
right.
baby.
Alabama Bruce Lee in the house. What is going on, family? Listen,
Up,
I want to go one by one, and I want y'all to answer me. Hey, I want to go one by one. I want you to introduce yourself, each and every single one of you, and I want you to answer me, what do you do when mama dog does not want to take care of a puppy? We're going to start out with Uncle Bruce. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Bruce Lang. Bruce Lang over here at Giant Factory Kennels. What I would do is sometimes, you know, it's you have just a few problems and stuff like that. But I will bottle feed. I will bottle feed the pup, and you know, and go from there. Sometimes, you know, powder milk just won't do it. You have to get goat milk. You got to see what the puppy like. So whatever the puppy likes, you know, that's what I give it.
Okay, so you're for saving the puppy.
Right.
Okay, let me bring up Miss.
Try first.
Give it a shot. Okay, I got you, Miss Nakaya. What do you do when mama dog is not taking care of the pups? And give us an introduction.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Nakaya Weddle with Bully Productions. And what I would do in that scenario, kind of like Bruce, I'm for saving the puppy and bottle feed, but I make a homemade formula. So, I mean, that's what I would go from there.
Okay. Have you ever had to do such a thing? And if so, how labor intensive was it for you?
Thankfully, I have not. I mean, I've had moms that wasn't, you know, as good as other moms where I assist, but I haven't yet had a mom that didn't have anything to do with their puppies.
Okay. Let me jump on over here to Mr. Caleb Weddle. Caleb, you got the floor. Answer the question. Give us an intro.
Yes, sir. Well, my name's Caleb Weddle. That's my beautiful wife, Nakaya Weddle. Bully Productions in the background. We run this out of Bruton, Alabama. My wife is really the whelper. She's the one that does it. So I'm going to go with her answer. But also, I'm going to sit there and say it depends on the severity of it. I wouldn't mind isolating the mom with that puppy to see, you know, if maybe she'll give him attention if it's just him or her. And then seeing the severity. You don't want to put too much time and surrender the rest of their health, too. So you really got to see the severity of it and if it's worth putting that much time and effort into, you know, without making the rest of them start to be sickly as well.
Okay. Miss Amanda Jean Nixon.
Hey, everybody. Amanda Nixon, First Friends Bully Kennels, also a Tuesday Night Bully Talk.
Like that.
What are you? Anyways, so honestly, I like what Caleb said. isolating the mother with the single pup that you're a little worried about. But also, yeah, definitely I'm for saving the puppy, but it is something that you're going to want to monitor even beyond that. So obviously if the mother never comes around, you're going to be the one either bottle or tube feeding the pup. But I mean, taking that pup to the vet to find out if there's any kind of like heart murmurs, like, because just like you said, sometimes the mother can sense that there's something wrong with the pup, even if it's something that's somewhat minor. She's going to focus on the more healthier pups. I mean, nature's going to nature one way or another, but it's one of those things where it's like, if it's something that can be remedied, you'd want to know in advance. But yeah, I'm for saving the pup. I mean,
Okay, you're for saving the pup. Michael Higginson.
Hey man, this is Michael Higginson with QBN Kennel, your co-host with the most. Look, I think it's definitely an issue for discretion, right? Mamas do have a tendency to leave their pups alone if something's wrong with them, and that's something to consider, especially if you're selling pups. I mean, pups to get rid of, for example. You need to keep a close eye on that pup and make sure that it's not going to be a problem for whoever gets that dog down the line, whether it's a dog you're keeping or getting rid of. And moms, sometimes they see things that we don't. And I learned this with my pop's kennel. He was telling me that sometimes the mothers will even eat the pups if something's wrong with them.
Yes.
And I recently witnessed, I didn't witness the act, but was with him while this took place before and after. And he lost a couple puppies to a litter that mom ate. And we were talking about this just very recently. And the thing about it, if there's something wrong, you gotta let mom do her thing. But if you feel like, they can eat them for other reasons too. So, there is some discretion there, man. I think you can separate, kind of see what you can do for the pups, give it an old health scan, go through the bases, check the boxes, try to figure out, like, hey, pup seems all right to me. I don't know what she's tripping on or why she's neglecting this pup, and check it off before you just let go automatically. But yeah, I think sometimes you can waste a lot of time for a pup that can't be saved, but you got to try, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're for the saving. You're for the saving of the pup.
I'm for the discretion. There are situations where I think it'd be a bad call to save it, but I haven't had that myself, so I don't know where that line is. I'd like to talk about it though.
Okay, so that's where we're headed with this whole thing. So let's talk about it. So let me jump in here real quick. One of the reasons that I've read, because I haven't had it happen, one of the reasons I've read that mama dogs will eat a puppy is because they sense the puppy has something wrong with it. And nature has taught wolves throughout millions and millions of years, and they put this, this instinct in them to eat the puppy rather than let it die, because once it stinks, it'll bring predators. So it's kind of a way to preserve the living, the healthy pups, right? So now, knowing that, what I just said, if you had a mama dog that decided she was going to start eating a puppy right there in front of you, would you let her? We're going to start out the other way around this time. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know, man. Instinctively, I'd want to stop it. You know what I'm saying? But that's a really tough question, man. I don't know what I would do in the spot. If she had already chomped down and broke some bones, I don't know, man. That might be it. But that's really tough. If I could stop her before she hurt the puppy, I would incubate the puppy and try to work through and check the boxes. If she already got a bite or so on it and the puppy's in bad shape, I don't know, man. That's a rough one. That's about all I got.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I'm trying to corner everybody. Miss Amanda Jean Nixon, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, very similar. Obviously, you try to prevent it, but if she's already gotten to it, there's not really much you're going to be able to do, and you don't want that pup to suffer. So sometimes if it's already kind of started to undertake, it's like there's a reason why she did it, obviously, but they're also their mind doesn't work like ours do. They can't rationalize that this pup could get better.
Right.
They don't understand things like that. So they're thinking instant, just trying to make sure that they're preserving what they can and getting rid of what, could become dangerous later. But obviously, since we can do that, it's just one of those things where like, I'd want to monitor as close as humanly possible so that it doesn't get to that point, so she doesn't get her teeth on them. But if it's already happened, then there's nothing you can do at that point.
Okay, well, let me bring in Mr. Caleb Weddle. Let me just say this, Caleb. I know you've whelped quite a few litters. John Kensey Jr. says, I let it twice happen. They know best. Go ahead and answer. How would you deal with it?
Yeah, like Michael said, we're dog lovers, so instinctively.
Hold on. Yeah, there you go. We're good now.
All right. Instinctively, you don't want to sit there and watch that. You want to do what we possibly can to remove that situation. But I think sometimes we get in the way of nature. Sometimes we're too hands-on with whelping. Sometimes, the mom really just needs to be able to be left alone and let nature take its place. But me personally, I wouldn't sit there and just let her, have a puppy for breakfast. I would remove the situation just because I don't want that to happen. But I think that's not the right answer. I think sometimes, again, we get in the way of it because the mom knows best. They sense things that we can't sense. And, we need to let them use those senses. These are domestic animals. We try to domesticate them as much as possible. But, they're still derived from wolves and things like that. So they still have that instinctively behavior. So yeah. I personally would stop it. But I think that we should let that take place because that's the way that they're designed to do.
Okay, Caleb, I lost your wife. Is she sit? Oh, never mind. She's popping up here. Let me bring her. All right, Miss Nakaya, talk to me. You walk in the room and Mama Dog is chomping on a puppy. What do you do?
I'm taking whatever she have left of that puppy and disposing of it. But yeah, there's nothing. It depends on, like they said, it's Mother Nature. Honestly, like once that starts, like it's nothing you can actually do for the puppy if she's already eating it. So yeah, I'm taking that puppy and away from her, and keeping a close eye on the other puppies.
Okay, fair enough. Let me bring in Brother Bruce. Can you hear us?
Is it echo?
I think I lost him. Okay.
Oh, Bruce.
As soon as he gets back, we'll bring him back on. Okay, so that's good perspective that everybody's bringing up, because I was expecting everybody to say, no, we're going to save the pup regardless. I kind of like the fact that everybody says we're trying to stop it, but if it is happening, it is nature, and you want it to be as natural as possible. And the reason I would want it to be as natural as possible is because what happens if she has that instinct to eat a sick puppy? You don't let her, and somehow she turns her attention to a healthy puppy. Yeah. I don't know. We're only talking about instincts. Anything could happen, especially in a moment like that. I can tell you the one thing that happened to me years ago. I had a female that gave birth, and she had mastitis, right? She had infection on her breasts, and I did not want the puppies suckling on her. Big mistake on my part. It was the first time I was having litter. Didn't want the puppies suckling on her because I didn't want them to suck the poison, the infection that she had going on. Took the puppies away for a couple hours, came back, and next thing you know, 2 of her breasts were completely eaten by her. She ate the breast. Okay. How instinctive was that? I have no clue to this day, but the fact that she did that tells me, I'm pretty sure the fact that I took the puppies away hyper stressed her to a point where, she was just doing things that were completely out of the ordinary. Right. So let's continue with this topic, and I'm going to go one by one with y'all. I want to ask you even further. When do we pull the plug on a pup? When do you pull a plug on a pup? If you have pulled the plug on a pup, I want to hear when, why, and how. And if you haven't, I want you to give me your preconceived notion. And we're going to start out with Miss Amanda Jean Nixon this time.
I have been blessed so far not to have to do that, but I feel that if you know that the quality of life moving forward, it's not something that's going to correct itself, or that's not something that you can correct easily. Cleft palates, things like that, like very, very severely cleft palates. I'm sorry. You've got to do what's best for that dog moving forward. So obviously there's definitely going to be some lines drawn. If you find out that later on that puppy, like, you notice it's just not growing in size, it's just not holding weight, it's not as energetic as the rest of the litter, find out it's got a heart murmur, 2 or above, it's like, at that point you got to start wondering to yourself, like, that's going to obviously ruin quality of life later on, potentially. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some lines to draw.
Okay. Michael Higginson, where do you draw the line? I know you recently had a litter.
Yeah, and I had 2 out of the litter that needed a little attention at birth. They got ripped out of the sack in the birthing process. So when they came out, they had already been in the fluid, and they needed a little help. They've done fine ever since. But yeah, I also recently, I was going to say this a second ago. I was reading about on Facebook somebody in my region right here that had a female in heat, and it's this mother's son, the female son got her pregnant, and it was some pit bulls, and the guy didn't even really know that he had got a hold of her. He thought he kept them separate, and she ended up having, I think, 9 puppies, and she ate all but one of them the second day they were alive. Ate all but one of them, and he had made a post and said she ate 2 of them, and then the next day she ate all but one of them. And he was reaching out trying to find out if people thought that he should put that last puppy down, and that was that whole deal. And I thought that was fitting for this, but yeah, I think if it's the same with people, right? If you're living on a machine, that's no way to live, in my opinion. If it's the actions that I'm taking that's keeping the puppy alive through my treatment process, and I know that if I let go one little bit, that it can't hold on its own. There's a time that you juggle that, and then there's after a certain point where it's like, okay, I've been doing this for 4 days. The puppy hasn't put on 1 ounce of weight. It's losing weight. It's declining as I'm doing everything I know to do. It's still declining, and now I feel like it's suffering. Then that would be the point of no return for me. So I guess what would determine it for me is the progress of the pup. If the puppy's steadily declining and got to a point where it's pretty far gone, and I can't get it to start coming back uphill, then that would be the point of no return for me. Yeah, that's a tough thing to do, and it's a tough call to make. But instinctively, you have to know, like, at a certain point, that this I'm keeping it alive, but it's not going to recover.
Okay. Just real quick, because I had Michael Hickman say he thought I was saying his name. I am dropping a link for anybody that wants to join our live. If you're new to breeding, if you got 100 million questions, if you experience this, if you want to jump in and be part of the conversation, I dropped the link. Just go ahead and click on it. Miss Nakia, I'm going to bring you on. This is your answer. The question is, when do we draw the line as to when do we pull the plug and say, okay, no, this puppy needs to be put down?
We still talking about the mother not taking care of it?
Well, I'm not talking about that now. Sort of. What I'm talking about is, when do we get to the point where we say, hey, you know what? It's better that we put the puppy down. When is that point for you?
Honestly, that point for me is, first of all, severe dehydration. It's hard to bring them back from severe, personally. I mean, from my experience. And once they start like gasping for air, I have never had a puppy that comes back from that state of gasping for air. So at that point, it's like, I've had so many puppies that I tried to, bring from that stage, and it's like a no. So I feel like after that point, it's just suffering. Like you just waiting for that point to happen. So that's what I would call it when I would call it. But other
Okay,
than
fair enough.
everything.
Fair enough. Let me ask your husband, Caleb. When do you pull the plug, man?
We pull the plug when the vet tells us. We're blessed with a very, very good vet. We work very closely with them. We bring them a lot of business, obviously, because we have so many dogs and we've sold so many dogs around here. So we have a very, very good working relationship with them. If we've exhausted all efforts, if we've given them, liver water, if we've given them puppy support, if we've tried everything that we possibly can here, I'm going to take it to the vet and go on their guidance. If they say, hey, this is going to be a permanent thing, this puppy's not going to have good quality of life, y'all do what y'all got to do. I take y'all's professional opinion, because that's exactly what it is. And y'all do what you got to do. But personally, I will not pull the plug. I will try everything possible, but I'll take it to the vets, and I'll let them make that decision.
I'm going to get back to you on that one. Let me get to Miss Amanda Jean. I keep wanting to say Dixon. I don't know why.
You're fighting it.
Amanda, I'm just going to say Amanda. How about that? Go ahead.
Well, like I said, it's it all depends on what ultimately we find out is wrong with the puppy that would really, really diminish its quality of life. So like strong heart murmurs, cleft palates, things like that. If it's something that it's going to make it like horrific to live, or it's going to require surgeries. I don't want that to become a burden for the next owner.
Okay, good point. I will say this, Caleb, and I like what you said. You said you have a good working relationship with your vet and that you will let the vets be the ones that make that decision. Unfortunately, not everybody has a great relationship with the vet. Sometimes you'll have a vet that every time there's a problem, he looks for the long, most expensive route to the solution. And therefore, I get that you put that in the hands of these professionals, but we need to understand these professionals are human beings that go on vacation, pay for their kids' private school classes, whatever. And sometimes they make business decisions, unfortunately. And so the reason I asked all you guys this, and I'm also putting my input, is so that we could reveal to that either new breeder or breeder that hasn't had to deal with a situation like this to be able to identify, hey, look, man, these people that have had several litters, this is what they're looking at, this, that, and the third. Nakaya said something, and I agree with her 100%. Once the puppy starts gasping, it's game over. It's game over. I don't care what the vet, we can keep it overnight. Yeah, I'm sure you can. There's nothing you could do at that point. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. There's a couple of things that I suggest that you do when you start noticing something. The very first thing is an incubator. It doesn't mean you need to go spend $1,000 on an incubator. You can make an incubator out of a ice cooler. Okay. All you need is a red light. You need a thermometer inside because you don't want to make it any warmer than 87 degrees. You may need a cup of water just so they could have relative humidity because they're so tiny that if you don't have a cup of water in there, they can start breathing dry air and that'll dehydrate them too. Okay. So keeping them warm is number one because the warmer the puppy is, the less oxygen it's going to consume. Okay. So that's the number one thing. The second thing is hydration. Nakaya hit it on the head. They dehydrate real quick. If you start getting that fading puppy and you get that sound that and all the other ones are making, suckling noises or whatnot, they're fighting for, to get some milk or whatever, and you get that one pup all the way in a corner going, you're going to have to work on that dehydration. On the dehydration side of it, I strongly suggest that you build some sort of rapport with whichever vet you're working with and try and see if they could give you either lactators, ringers, or a bag of normal saline and a syringe. So basically you're going to pull the saline out of there with a syringe, and you're going to be putting it in that skin that they have in the back of their neck in order to keep them hydrated. Really important. 90% of the puppies are going to die because of dehydration. It's unfortunate, but this is the fact. And I've had people hit me up and they're like, we did what you said. We put him in the incubator. And then I look in the incubator. How long has he been there? 5 hours. And he's moving less. And I'm like, did you put a cup of water in there? No. Okay. I don't tell them inadvertently they killed the pup because they don't even know. But the truth of the matter is that cup of water is a lifesaver for that puppy inside of that incubator, because you're taking them out of the relative humidity that you have in the atmosphere. You're putting them in this little place that's getting rid of the humidity, and this little animal is now breathing away its water. So just want to give you that. Those are the most important. People are like, but what about nutrition? Nutrition comes last.
Yeah.
Nutrition comes.
Yeah.
Look,
Raul, I really like what you said about the saline in the nape of the neck, and I want people to understand why that takes precedence over like hydration through the mouth. And one of the main reasons that I found, even with my litter now, is that if a puppy is in distress, it's really hard to get fluids through the mouth without making them aspirate.
Yep.
If their will to live is fading and they're really struggling and they're dehydrated, getting them to swallow and drink like they're supposed to is really tough.
Yeah.
If you can get that fluid under the skin, you have a much better chance of hydrating that puppy. Just to elaborate a little bit on what he just said.
Yes, most definitely. Let me hit number 3 real quick, Mike, before I forget, because I'm getting up in age here. The third thing is, now notice I said nutrition is last. However, one of the things that will take a puppy out like that is hypoglycemia, meaning their blood sugar gets low. Oh, but that's nutrition, Raul. Yeah, sort of. So I'm going to show you a little trick. You get carob syrup. Carob syrup, right?
Karo syrup.
Yeah, carob syrup, right? Just straight up, nothing more than corn syrup.
Yeah,
and
essentially.
you dip the tip of your finger in there and you put it inside of the gum, and it's going to hit the blood like that. Okay? It's going to hit the blood like that. What you want to do, I'm letting you guys know right now, temperatures that puppies should be held at, that I have found, and you guys, if you disagree, please let me know, is 85 to 88 degrees. And I usually like them closer to 85 than 88 because of the dehydration thing I told you about. But if you find a puppy and their temperature is 82, 81, yeah, obviously you have a situation in your hands. You need to warm that puppy up. Now, don't go crank the incubator at 88 and throw them in there. We're not baking a cookie. Okay. If the pup is at 81, I want you to set the incubator at 82. Okay. And I want you to come back anywhere between half hour to 45 minutes and get his temperature again. Once his temperature has gone up to 82, then you should go half a degree for approximately every 40 minutes there going forward. Okay. Until you get them to 85. Don't go rush and feed them at 81 degrees because you're going to kill them.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, that puppy's main issue is he cannot regulate his temperature. He's consuming oxygen at super high rates because he's colder than what he can be. And putting food in his stomach is going to make you shunt the much needed blood to move what little oxygen is coming in around into the digestive system, which more than likely he or she's going to puke and then aspirate.
So
if
for people listening, Raul, where is the line as far as temperature for a puppy that's gotten too cold and you're warming back up? At which point is the body temperature of the dog warm enough to put food in it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. 85.
85 for the temperature of the dog?
Yes. Like people's main concern when you get a cold puppy is let's feed it. Feeding is the least of your worries.
Right now,
you need to regulate temperature, followed by, and here's the other thing. in that incubator, I didn't mention this earlier, I apologize. I have an incubator and I was able to get an oxygen concentrator. You don't need a prescription from anybody now for that stuff. You can literally buy it online. Have a little oxygen concentrator. Now, don't go crank that thing full blast, because you can also create oxygen toxicity and kill a pup, right? So, I mean, everything has got to be in very slight moderation. In my scenario, whenever I've had to use my incubator, I put it at no higher than half a liter per minute. I make sure I have a cup of water in there, and I have the puppy furthest away from where that hose is coming in. Otherwise, all that oxygen coming in is too much for that pup to handle. You'll kill him. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there because I already know. I know somebody's going to buy an oxygen concentrator and crack that thing up to 5 liters a minute. Yeah. He's going to be feeling great. That puppy's going to be fun, right? So if you get a puppy that's cold, what I would suggest, like I said, is try to get their temperature slowly back. Okay. I would also check in the back of their neck, pinch the skin, and if it's tenting, if it stays tented, that means there's dehydration. That's where I would go to the syringe and either lactators, ringers, or normal saline, pull and push in there. And that's called, and there's many ways to, give nutrition or give hydration to dogs. You could do intravenous with the vein. That's not what we're doing, right? We're basically going to go under the skin, right? So we're going in and we're injecting it. A puppy's probably going to yell and scream. Yeah. It's either that or you're going to have a dead puppy. I'm just letting you guys know, right? Yeah. Once you've gotten that puppy to 85 degrees and their oxygenation is coming in good. How do you know their oxygenation is coming in good? Raul, do I put one of them things they put on my finger when I go to the doctor? No. You're looking at pink tongue, pink mouth, pink pads, okay? If they start turning cyanotic, they start turning blue, there's a lack of oxygen. If they start turning red, they go from pink to red, yeah, you crank that oxygen way too much. And right now you're starting to break things apart inside of the pup. Hurry up and bring that down. Okay. Once that puppy you've established them at 85 degrees, then maybe the first thing I would do is get Karo syrup, put a little bit in their gums just to make sure they don't become hypoglycemic on me. Give it an hour or two, see if they start picking up their motion a little bit. Once they start picking up their motion a little bit, or they even let out a yelp, then I'm looking to feed. Why? There's only one of two ways I will do the feeding. I will take all the puppies out and put it on mom's one of her back breasts, the ones that are mostly engorged with milk, where he's got to do minimum effort to pull milk. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to put him on there. If he latches on and within a minute he's off, I know for a fact I'm going to have to start feeding this puppy because there's something definitely not right at that point. And when I say feeding the puppy, I don't mean grab a bottle of milk because they could end up aspirating. I'm talking about buying the kit, and I might make a video on that. I have a litter now dropping soon. Hopefully I don't have a puppy like that. If I do, I'll make a video where you have to put in nursing, we call a nasogastric tube, but in puppy's case, it'd be just gastric tube, where you put it down to the stomach, you push 3 mLs of air while you're listening through a stethoscope to know you're in the right place, and then you start feeding through there. And that really sucks because you got to feed them through there for 2 hours for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have all the equipment here to do that, and I was going through reading up and making sure I was prepared to do that, and I have the stethoscope and all that here, but I didn't have to do it, thank God. But I'll tell you what, that's a scary thing to do because you can really make mistakes. And I just urge people, if you ever get in that situation, that you find somebody that knows what they're doing. I don't know that I'd trust Google with it. I find somebody that knows what they're doing and ask every question you can think of. And if they can walk you through it, FaceTime or anything like that and help you through it, I would recommend that, because it's a tricky little process to have that tube in the right place. And
Yeah.
Adam Fields just dropped some knowledge on us too. He's saying local honey. So if you don't have local honey, you could go with the K-Row syrup. The thing about local honey, why it's better than K-Row syrup, is because not only is it sweet and it's going to raise the blood sugar, it's also going to help the immune system puppy. So definitely I'm giving it to Adam Fields. He definitely dropped the bomb on us, man. Good job.
I also for puppies that are having trouble putting on weight, we put K-Row in the puppy milk.
Yeah, you put K-Row in the puppy milk. And the thing about sugar, man, it does it to just all mammals pretty much. You just got to make sure you don't overdo it either. But what ends up happening is when the sugar levels go up, they go into conservation mode more with whatever's being fed, right? This is why, so hear me out, guys. So this is why so many breeders are feeding dyne to their puppies every freaking meal. And it's like, dude, slow it down. They don't have a pancreas for that, okay? They don't have a pancreas for that. You're going to create all sorts of issues with the pup. But yes, for emaciated dogs that you find on the street or puppies or anything like that, dyne is definitely a go-to. That's going to help them gain weight for you can feed them dyne for about 5 days straight, and then, wean them off and get into something else, right? So let me ask you guys this. Have you guys ever experienced any abnormality when a puppy was born? And I'm looking at Nakaya, and I'm going to go to her first because she looks like she got something to say.
Actually, I have. I mean, that's I don't know. I guess we're blessed because we really haven't. I was trying to think as you was talking about it, but no, we have never had anything abnormal, not a clip.
Not even hydrocephalus, anything like that, which is the water in the head.
No, never.
No. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Let me go to Michael Higginson.
No, never any abnormalities. We've only had one production here. We didn't have any abnormalities. The closest thing we had was we had a couple of puppies that had a lot of trouble sucking well. It seemed like they just couldn't figure out how to wrap the tongue around the bottom and use it to pull. You know what I'm saying?
And what you do for that? How'd you get them to suck better?
Well, when we ended up doing it with our finger, and then I would break the seal of the tongue on the side, but by using our finger, I could get the tongue in the right place, get it centered, get it locked in, get it latched to the right place, and they're not getting anything out of my finger, so it made them pull harder, and then I could break the seal of the side of that tongue with a dropper. And put puppy milk in there and give a little reward, and then make them pull, and then they would work harder to get it, but got them pulling harder. But that's not really an abnormality. That's about the closest thing I had to it.
All right. Well, I mean, I already know the answer, but Caleb, what can you tell me?
Well, of course, Nakai whelps pretty much all of our litters, so we've been very lucky. We really haven't had too many issues. We've been. Wait a
minute. You're sounding too. You sound like you're letting her whelp and you're sleeping. You're sleeping in your bed,
watching football.
Yeah, he's scrolling through Netflix.
Oh no!
He's out there.
Oh, I walked into this one. No, we take turns each night. I definitely give her different nights. But yeah, our answers would be the same because they're our litters. But we've been very, very blessed. We've been very blessed with good moms. With good, healthy puppies for the majority of the time, but no abnormalities like that. Okay.
All right. Miss Amanda?
Well, weirdest thing I dealt with was double dew claws, and that's it. Super, super lucky. And that was a long time ago with Pitbull, so.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you guys, I dealt with a litter where I had two puppies. It was a 10-pup litter. I had two puppies that were all white. Okay.
Mm.
This was a non-merle litter. So neither mom nor dad were merle. They were genetically tested. Okay.
Yeah.
But they were eerily clear colored. And mom was pushing them to the side. And I was like, this is weird. Like the two little white doggies, she's pushing them to the side. So long story short, I made the valiant effort and I pretty much saved them. But by the time we got to day 24, that's when I moved my puppies onto MUSH. All the other puppies, all other 8 puppies, they graduated, right? And they went to MUSH. But these two, they were always a little bit behind in growth and everything. And so I left them with mom an extra week. They did pretty well. They actually put on some weight. So, took them to the vet. Vet couldn't find anything wrong with them, anything like that. No heart murmurs or nothing like that. I sold the 2 pups. Literally about 3.5 months later, maybe 3 months later, I get a call. And it's one of the buyers that has the puppy at the vet. And he says, hey, I got the vet here. He hands over the vet. And the vet tells me, the puppy's spinal cord is constricted. Ooh. I said, what? He said, yeah, the puppy's spinal cord is constricted. I said, Doc, I have the genetic test. I could send him over. I kind of knew what he was going to say, but he said it for me. He said the issue isn't genetic, it was developmental. I was like, okay. So that kind of gave me some peace that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing as far as what I can be doing on my end. Right. If it's developmental, there's nothing you can do there. So basically I told the owner, I said, listen, I had 2 more litters at the time. And I said, listen, I'll swap the puppy out. Obviously I'll pay whatever, and I'll pay for the puppy to be put down, and I'll replace the puppy with the first pick out of this litter. Yeah. They were crying and whatnot, but they accepted it. Literally, as I'm talking to them, I get another call. And the call I'm getting is from the other puppy. This exact same thing.
Wow.
And so I learned my lesson. And it had happened before where I would have a mom shove the pup to the side. I had another litter at one time where she kind of pushed one puppy to the side, and I kept, fighting for the pup. In fact, I bought this thing where it would suck the milk out of her breast, and it would put it in a little bottle and give it to the pup the whole night, only to have him die on me 3 weeks later. Yeah. On his own. She didn't lay on him, none of that. So I've learned my lesson that nature knows more than me, than I will ever know. That doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and the minute that she pushes him to the side, I'm going to immediately put the puppy down. What it does mean is I'm going to give you about a good 4 or 5 days. I'm gonna do my very best to get some weight on you and figure it out with you. But if you're not gaining weight and mom is pushing you to the side, sometimes you have to let nature take its course. It's just my stance.
I'll tell you something, man. So on something like that, my pops, man, O'Neal King, he's him and his family. I've mentioned it on the show before, but they've been breeding bird dogs for 62 years consecutively.
Wow.
And so like that's a long time, right? So when I have questions like this, his mother, my granny, she was like the matriarch of their family and their kennel. She knew all the bloodlines and she knew all the details. And I had a lot of talks with her about, how to go about things like this. And she said, baby, nature always knows best. She said it's hard to watch sometimes, but sometimes nature's hard to watch, but you got to let mama do her thing because she's not going to eat a healthy puppy. Yeah. And that's a hard pill to swallow, man. And as breeders and dog owners, we want to fight against that. It's really hard not to, man. I'm not even saying that I could do it every time, but like you said, man, I think you and Amanda both touched on it, and I agree that, you know, you got to put in a little bit, try to get some weight on them. In our case of this litter, there was more pups than teats, so it could be misleading to think that maybe she's neglecting a pup when in all actuality he just can't get his turn and he's falling behind. And the other puppies have got used to pushing him out, and he's got used to giving up because he can't get in.
Yeah.
And so that can be misleading as well. But we dealt with a little bit of that. I tell you, I slept on the floor for 2 weeks right there. My wife made fun of me, but I slept with one hand on the mama dog, so that if she moved or did anything, I would wake up. I slept right there in there for 2 weeks because she had more than she could handle. But I think that's one of the hardest things that these questions right here I love. I think people need to hear all these wonderful perspectives we have in this room tonight. But that's one of the toughest things as a breeder to do is like decide whether to let go of a puppy or not, or let mama do her thing. And I think we shine some good light on that right here.
I mean, it's a sentiment versus sentimentality. Like you got to, there's obviously a sense of sentiment, but we've got to draw the line somewhere. And it's just I like that like you are staying with them for an exorbitant amount of time because you're observing, and observations can make or break, or in all reality, they can make that decision for you.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
yeah, definitely. You need to be on top of it. I've had some crazy situations I had this one little puppy that was about yay big, and I could have sworn I thought he would. I was like, man, there's no way he's going to make it. And this little guy, he knew how to swim because he would swim on top of his brothers and sisters to get to the nipple.
Yeah.
He made it. And I found myself every day pulling for him, It was always like that. I have a quick question from Lee Foster. And the reason I want to bring it up is because I had something that nature was involved in that was brought up as well. So he's asking me, he said, Raul, because of work, I haven't seen your show lately. Have you bred Blueberry? If you guys don't know who Blueberry is, of course, I am a dog breeder. So I am proud to introduce y'all to little old Blueberry right here on the screen.
Blueberry's looking good too, boy.
Yes, he is.
He's looking great, but here's the deal with little old Blueberry. Right, so little old Blueberry was gonna be bred to this girl right here, my girl. But little old Blueberry was only 1 year and 14 days old, and when I tried collecting him, little old Blueberry did one of these right here because he just wasn't ready.
I love how they'll tell you. They're like, yeah, I'm just not. No, it's not my game right now.
What you doing?
He's looking at me like, really? Like, this is just wrong, right? So my question to you guys is, have you ever had a scenario where you've had a dog that's had a little stage fright when it was time to be collected?
We haven't. All our dogs, like from the beginning, we had like a standard tri named Kane. After that, very popular, we had a Merle, XL Merle, then Jen, then Levi. None of them. They're the opposite. Happy go. They hump anything and everything.
Block boy will hump anything.
They hear the snap. They're like,
they hear that pop. And they're like,
Bone falls right out of their mouth. Like, what bone? Yeah.
When they hear the gloves come on, it's like,
Just start humping the air for real.
Yes.
Hey, you know how dogs get skittish when they're going in the car to the vet, and you start pulling up in the parking lot, and they're like, they don't want to get out of the car. Nah, pressure. No. He knows he's probably getting collected when he goes in there, and he's ready.
This is a happy place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, unfortunately, guys. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, somebody said Blueberry Blues. Have you heard the Blueberry Blues, Caleb? You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
I'm about to take y'all
How
on a
about
ride,
you, Miss
baby.
Amanda? You ever heard the Blueberry Blues?
No, sir.
I promise you're going to have the Blueberry Blues by the time we're done with what's about to come up. How about you, Miss Nakaya?
Not at all.
Okay.
Light blue
So,
eyes in a sea of blue, baby.
hey, look, he already knows it, but just in case, we're gonna drop it right here like it's hot.
Oh God.
Like blue eyes.
There you go.
in a sea of blue.
There you go. There you go. That's my boy.
Can't stop thinking about
Oh,
you.
it's gonna get good. Just hear the word.
No, we can't hear it. I can't.
Way you walk,
It's
the
up.
way you stand,
I can't hear it.
way
Can you hear it, Caleb?
I can hear it.
Blueberry
Michael talks.
motherfucker, you. That's right. Blue,
Uh-huh.
blueberry motherfucker, you.
Come on, tell me it doesn't sound sexy.
You
Oh
act
my
like you
I mean, that's like almost
We listening to this later, baby.
Like that's like
blueberry motherfucker, you.
Yeah.
Saving my nickels and dimes, taking my time so
if I get that song stuck in my head, Raul, I'm never gonna forgive you.
instruction from blueberry
I like it.
motherfucker, you.
I hear it.
Hey, just an introduction. Hey, there's a little story behind that song. So I drove all the way to Kansas to drop off little old Blueberry with Miss Devin all the way up there. She's, training him to go in the ring and everything. And when I'm driving back, I just had this feeling, Blueberry Blues. And next thing you know, I found an AI app and I just started writing. And next thing you know, there you go. A little Blueberry Blues. So, his scenario was kind of weird. So let me give you a little background. So my boy Fireball, he's 8.5. I haven't collected a dog in quite a minute because my boy 305, I moved from my yard last year, right? And my boy Congo, I collected. Well, that's not true. I do collect Congo on a monthly basis 2 or 3 times. You got to. Otherwise, this dude just, you already know.
It's
So,
the work.
long story short, I had everything banked on little old Blueberry, making it happen for me. I put on the gloves, and believe it or not, the gloves scared him. Right. So for 2 days, here's my female's progesterone slowly going up. So for 2.5 days, here I am trying to collect them. There's no way I can collect them. So I called my dude, Peter Stoiber. He owns this boy right here, Hector. I call him the walking standard, this guy over here. Yeah. And he ships me the sperm. I put it into the female. And wouldn't you know it, that night, little old Blueberry decided he wanted to get on top of her and start to hump. That's breeding for you. That is. Yeah. It just happens that way every time, just about.
Same thing with holidays. Like if there's a time your vet isn't available or is on vacation or like holiday weekend, that's when they want to hit, man. That's when the progesterone level's just right.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. And I guess I'm full of stories tonight. But 3 years ago, I had a litter, and it so happened that I was working with this veterinary group, and just like you, Caleb, I'm bringing a lot of business to you. I'm producing litters. You're charging me for the surgical insemination. You're charging me for the C-section. You're making bank with me. Turns out I had an appointment with my female that Tuesday, and we were coming up on the 4th of July weekend. Everybody shuts their little mouth. They don't say anything. And here I am. I've gone 100 times or so with my dogs to get a C-section in the middle of the night because they give me 24-hour service. How am I supposed to know that July 4th is the only weekend out of the year that they don't work? Nobody said anything. So lo and behold, my girl goes into panting, the whole shebang bang, and I'm getting pointed at going to an emergency, just a regular old emergency vet clinic here in Conroe, just near me. So I head over there with my girl. First of all, they're wanting to charge me $6,500. For those of you that don't know, at least in my neck of the woods, a standard C-section is no more than $1,200. That's what it runs. Okay. These guys are charging me $6,500 because it's 4th of July, right? Yeah. this is why you need to know a little something so you don't get it taken advantage of.
That's
So
a
I
lot of
see
money.
the vet. I see the vet. I wanted to see and talk to him. He looked like a deer in the headlight. This dude must have graduated hours earlier.
Oh no,
Yeah, I can tell.
that's fresh out.
So what these vets do, especially in this city, is they all conspire to send all the clients to this one veterinary unit where the poor devil, whoever the last person that came in through the door, that's going to be the vet that's going to work that weekend. And if they got no skill, guess what? Long story short, this is what this dude did. He said, okay, yeah, we're going to handle it. No issues. 5 hours go by. I'm hearing nothing from nobody. Give them a call. I'm expecting, okay, puppies were extracted, but whatever.
Yeah, here's the count.
I understand it's 4th of July and it was pretty packed there. He's like, no, I haven't even opened her yet. So I already know the pups are dead. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I wanted to choke. Luckily, my wife got the phone from me before I could say anything. I pretty much was going to tell him to give me my dog back.
Yeah.
Which would have been a problem at this point because now she has dead puppies inside.
Yeah.
So my wife speaks to him, this, that. Then, he says within an hour, we'll get her under the knife. I'll give you a call when we come out. He gives me a call. Supposedly he's in the middle of this whole thing. And he's like, I strongly suggest that we spay her. And that's when I lost it.
Yeah.
That's when I said, you SOB,
Mm-hmm.
spay her, and the lawsuit I'm going to hit you with is going to be bigger and badder than any degree or specialty that
Yes. Rack it up, buddy. Yeah.
Because you're taking advantage of the fact that you have leverage because this is an emergency. Because had it not been an emergency, I wouldn't even let you look at my dog. You couldn't even smell the dog from a mile away because I could tell you're brand spanking new. So I share this with you guys so that you understand the way these emergency clinics work, especially during the holidays. All these older vets that don't want to work and they don't want to give you 24-hour service and all that good stuff, right? They will shoot everything over to basically a brand new butcher because that's all he could be. How many times did he go in during school? 3, 4, 5 times? Yeah, you're still a butcher.
I'm going to tell you something, Raul. These two right here, they're both thinking the same thing right now. I can guarantee it. They got the best damn vet, and they've used the same vet forever for every little thing. And
That's
it's
great.
24/7 and whatever. And their vet will work with them on anything, dude. Like Nakai and Caleb truly have. Like we've talked about it a bunch. And the vet that they use, I don't know who they are, but I do know that they have taken really good care of them and been able to meet all their needs, and they have a great working relationship with their vet. And I'm envious.
I hear that few and far in between. So let me ask you, Caleb and Nakaya, is your vet a country vet or a city vet? How did you get to know them? How did you bump into them? Maybe you could shed some light on everybody else.
A country vet. We're a very rural town. This was actually the second vet we used here in town. It's actually one of two. So we were actually using the first at first. And we've had to use the emergency vets. Unfortunately, a weekend, a dog went into labor. And like you were saying, they literally made us pay $3,500 up front before they would actually even take her back.
Wow.
Like, I literally would not see her until $3,500 was paid. And they're like, well, if it's this, we're going to refund the money. If it's this is what it's going to cost.
They
never
charge
They charge us for the higher dollar amount before they would even take her back. But we got very lucky with this vet, and they weren't really a repo vets. We've kind of turned them into it after, we've been doing this for about 8-9 years and been using this vet for about 5, 6. Yeah. So we kind of turned them into a repo vet, and they've grown with us, the knowledge and things like that. And we fact checked them. And Now we have a very, very good relationship. One of the vet techs, we actually met at 1 o'clock in the morning to get saline, like you were talking about, at
Yep.
1 o'clock in the morning to be able to save a puppy.
Yep.
That's awesome, bro. That's when you know. I have spoken on this platform about country vets. Their business plan is so different than a city vet. A city vet has to milk every cat, every kitten, and every dog that comes through the door. A lot of these country vets, they're really making their money off of cattle, livestock, other things, and they just provide a service to to their public of also taking care of the dogs and cats. Do you feel that that's kind of the case with your vet?
He does do. He actually specializes in larger animals. So absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I like to hear other people say it with their own experience and whatnot, so people could also fact check me, cross-reference me, and also if there's something that you got that I don't have, throw it out there in order to give that knowledge to people, because a lot of times people don't know what dealing with an emergency vet is until there's an emergency. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, that's all right. I was going to say we've got a great country vet, definitely a rural vet. He does a lot of horses and cows and things like that. And in the middle of these puppies, his wife had answered the text and said that he was suffering from heat exhaustion, but he would recommend what we do, and if we needed him to come down there, he would. Yeah. But he had been out in the summer heat in a hog pen with a bunch of hogs and got overheated.
Right
here a little bit ago, but he's actually the one I was telling you about, Raul, that he was a professor at the best veterinary college in the country, and he was teaching vets, and now he's got a small business out here as a rural vet.
You got lucky on that one.
Yeah. And then he's actually the one who taught and recommended our repo specialist. So he's like, hey. And then another added bonus, our country vet is also a breeder. That's a hard thing to find.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I disagree with that, man.
We haven't found any.
I have found city vets talking crap about reproduction, only to later find out that they're also reproducing dogs. And I've found many country vets that are actually also breeders. Currently, the one I'm going to is also a breeder, which to me is the perfect scenario.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's going to be an empathy there, compassion there.
Yeah, they're not trying to spay and neuter your dogs for no freaking reason,
Yeah. And when he told us that he's like, hey, I breed and I'm a vet, and this is still my reproductive vet, I'm like, oh yeah, we're going there. Yeah.
You got Sykes Pups, Old English Bulldog, asking Mike, is it in Valonia, the veterinarian you're talking about?
It is. Yeah, our reproductive specialist is in Valonia. That's
What's the name? Throw it out there.
It's Valonia Animal Hospital.
Okay.
And that's our specialist. And I guess he's in our area. Our country vet is in Damascus, and it's Twin Creek. Dr. Fox down there. He's amazing. Been doing it a long time. He's an older guy. He's one of them. You go in and your dog needs some antibiotics, and he gives it to you, and he's like, he's like, I'm going to give you a refill on this antibiotic just in case. And you're like, wait a minute, my dog's not going to need a refill. And he's like,
oh, Mike, you sure you want to be doing this out there?
No, that's not a bad thing, right?
Hey, Caleb, Adam Fields wants to know the name of your vet. Caleb, throw it out there.
Hey, Bruton Animal Hospital, and I'm gonna give y'all a tip real quick. What we did with our vets, we actually donated a puppy after emergency C-section after hours, and our vet became very close to us. He actually still has that dog.
smart guy.
Oh
Good
man,
tip.
I'm glad to have one that. I mean, he's as ethical as he can be, but he will not be. He will not hold back. He'll give you, like, we got syringes to feed puppies. He gave us like 20 of them, and yeah, he's where I got the idea for the K-Row and all that. I think when we talked about it, you said you used that too. But man, he's been above and beyond for us, man. I feel like he's definitely greased the wheel for us, made things easy for us. Great guy.
Well, I want to make a quick announcement. so that everybody is aware. We might change it, but for right now, just for right now, everyone you're seeing on the panel, including Uncle Bruce, who had to drop off, but he'll be back. He promised me he's going to get some good internet and whatnot. So essentially, essentially this crew you're seeing here, they're going to be coming on the first Monday of every month. And we're going to be having these types of discussions. And who knows, we might change it up and make it into a game. You know, I asked Michael Higginson today, what type of game should we do? He was talking about strip poker. I said, no. Michael Higginson, you know,
Where is mama?
yeah. But nonetheless, we're definitely going to do it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the different point of views. You know, there's a wealth of experience in what you're looking at here, plus what you're not seeing in Uncle Bruce, and definitely bringing them on and us having a back and forth, just positive reinforcement and different points of views is what we want to bring to you guys. Now, to you guys that are currently back here, we do our outros. And the way we do it, right, is each one of us says who we are, and we give a nice, spicy little outro, right? And so I'm going to bring my dude from the back, Hollywood Holland. Where you at, Hollywood? There he is. There he is. So Hollywood, start us up, man. And once you see your picture, you know you got to make it happen. Here we go.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue. We're catching you on the next one.
All right, Michael Higginson.
Michael Higginson with Creekbank Kennel out of Arkansas, your co-host with the most, catching y'all on the next one.
Miss Amanda.
Amanda Nixon, Perseverance Bully Kennels. Great time tonight. Keep it positive, y'all. We'll get through it together. Nice.
All right.
You got to work on that.
Caleb Weddle.
Yes. Hey, Caleb Weddle, Bully Pride Productions out of Bruton, Alabama. We're always working, always improving. See you on the next one.
Ooh, there you go, Miss Nakaya.
He stole mine, but I'm Nakaya Weddle from Bully Pride Productions, and always, like he said, always working, always improving.
There you go, number love. Hey, you already know we do this every Monday, every Friday at 8 p.m. Listen, if you got questions, we got answers. Make sure to tune in. It's been Robert from the Q, and I'll be catching you on the next one.
We are going for a whole hour, straight dog talk, and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate.